bafaiva fa balungi tuyanza gimabale kwekumira kumpewo kwetulwa no munsi yaffe Uganda twele okuweereza ensi yaffe tusima tusimira ddala kuba nti singa temuli singa waawo tetuliiwo atubaza omukama mutabani wa Yohana omukama kwaddo bulamu webale nnyo webalire ddala tusiima ne mama Mole ayakubeza okutuuka kutonako olwaleero mukulimi ndwa bale okwekuuma COVID-19 obaja alisimanyi gwetakutte simanyi lwaki
anti COVID waliwo COVID omutuufu waliwo COVID ali political gwe bakuteekako obuteesi
kakati goliko COVID ki
ate sigenda mu ddwaliro gwe linnya yolabe gwali prominent linnya yolabe oba naavaayo
ogenda mu ddwaliro
genda mu ddwaliro olabe oba naavaayo kuba bakolerako publicity ate COVID ajja kututta nnyo lwa nsonga nti tulemeddwa tetwogera ku nsonga nkulu kakati waliwo ono ogwanga
owembala yakola COVID
n'omukyala gwendaba tulinga abakayanirwa omwana omubikke tukayanira mwana oba mulambo oba yeebase kubanga mwaligambye is it a research or a drug mwaligambye nti buli azuula eddagala tumuwa abalwadde ba COVID 10 tulabe improvement ne kakati bwe kye baliko ti amawulire gabakubamu ne gateeka Museveni ku pressure kuba Museveni bamumanyi nti ayagala nnyo loko yes kakati we bamubbira abawa ssente twali tekitinzeewa at what level should government put in money ekyo tewali akibuuza tibannange lyo lino eddagala eriri mu kakebe eriwedde baalijanjabiza kwani are we calling a sleeping baby or we are calling a corpse kubanga corpse ne sleeping baby bafaanagana yes ono omulaba nga tasisimuse when somebody fails to wake up this is when you realize that he is dead kakati what's the argument over that's one is it a drug how do you prove a drug the drug means that they are volunteers who come and be tested on this drug and as a result they are monitored kakati before Museveni comes in before Museveni gives in money Museveni is responding to media pressure
absolutely
tamanyi nti media ya Uganda kati ogwanga bamusudde kati ate ne baleeta ono omukazi kubanga you cannot see a universe is composed of educated people
absolutely
they have not this is not the first time they are developing a patent naye bagenda mu kooti ne bawaaba ne bakola batya why the intention is to get money after get what if you put in money in a hoax kasita obalaba ababbi ba Uganda nga bakola ebyo kati bwobaga nti abange tuseke tutesitinga eki eddagala lino tulabe tuleke tuliteekemu ssente badduka awo Museveni tebamuteekesaawo apaana they can even create fake patients ateekemu ssente
ekyo nange mbadde nkisuubira Uganda obubbi bungi
yes kakati n'osanga n'obagamba where is a quarrel between Nabbanja and those who say that they have not received the money let Nabbanja publish the numbers, the telephone numbers of those the Prime Minister's office has given money to. We shall find out those who are no longer in existence and some people will come and say, yes, this is my number, but I did not receive the money. Because in many cases, what do you do if somebody sends you money and you fail to get it? The records are clear with the companies. You are not dealing with individuals. You are dealing with companies, telephone companies, with records. Kati ekyo bw'okireeta tebayinza kikkiriza. Bw'obaga nti nedda, the only answer, the only judge who can decide this case, whether the Nabbanja sends money to people who are denying to have received it, gundi, security. Which security?
But security for what in terms of money?
Security yokumanya simu ye erimu ki. We are not talking about somebody's account in a bank. We are talking about because your telephone number is public. This is why government has decided to use your telephone number to send the money to you. Kakati ekyo bwekibaga nti nedda bannange the matter is simple. Nabbanja akube a list of telephone numbers mu mawulire gonna tuzirabe bali tebasobola bajja kuleeta ye excuse because they will be exposed.
Not excuse bagirese mache bagambye nti abantu even their nini numbers zinzo okubaawo mujja bayingira account zaabwe.
Ate otya telephone number ekulaga account yo nkugambye nti ba mafia ba Uganda bw'obatuusa ku solution nga bafuna ye ekirala
naye bannange
kakati kasooka olabe what do we need? Whether Museveni, if Museveni extends the lockdown, the people are impatient. All countries have decided to have vaccination. Vaccination is the long-term solution. What measures are in place now for vaccination? You have been moved to oxygen and other facilities that we are lacking. Are you saying now that this is going to be to whoever gets the disease can get facilities? Was the question of facilities in hospitals? Or the ultimate goal would be, this was a temporary measure. That is like going to a bank, when everybody, all the customers go to a bank, the bank can collapse. So many patients went to hospital and the hospitals did not have enough facilities. But the ultimate goal would be vaccination. Everybody is after vaccinating everybody that you can go to normal life. Now nobody is now discussing vaccination. Normally, Abana Uganda don't discuss the issues. The issues at hand. What are we discussing now? Are we discussing the vaccination as other countries have done? Or we are just talking about facilities? Because the money that we borrowed from the World Bank and IMF, 1.5 trillion has been spent on these facilities. Oxygen, what. But other countries are moving towards vaccination because for me, I know, nti olaba bagabidde abantu bano sente tebajja kuta. Naye njagala obabuulira nti the first time people accepted. This time, if we don't move to vaccination, and the president extended the lockdown, people will force themselves back to the streets.
But they started coming back,
because kati olaba ababoda boda nga batisa abantu.
Babiri ate.
Aba police nabo tebasobola kuyimirirawo without corruption. Kubanga bayina saako yaabwe toyogerwako. We talked about National Security Fund. We talked about the teachers unions. Nobody is raising an issue about the police saako. Policemen are deducted 100,000 per month. Is it a saako? Is it a National Security Fund? It started a long time ago, even when Kaikula was there.
And as what Jack said,
it is mandatory deduction.
100,000.
Yes.
No one
per policeman.
Not want to cover you, Baba no Busungu.
Yes. And kakati ekibi ekiri mu Uganda. Kakati aba police babeyambisa to cool down the strikes of people, but for them they cannot agitate for themselves. They are circle. The Wazalendo circle, the military circle is beneficial to the soldiers. What happens to the police circle? Kakati, the policemen deployed to implement these directives, the COVID directives, largely depend on bribes from motorists. That's why within a month we shall see many vehicles back on the roads, because this is the only way policemen can get money. Two, people relax. Why? At the peak of the virus, there were reported cases of death, including prominent people. Today, you don't see reports of dead people in newspapers. What does an ordinary person get from this? He will say, "Akabuka kagenzi." Era nabagamba nti Museveni was blackmailing people in working places to buy masks as a passport to work. The moment you implement a lockdown, the sales on masks went down. Why? Are people want masks at home?
No.
Yes. People were using masks, were daring to COVID requirements because they feared Museveni to send them back to lockdown. Now that there is a lockdown now, in effect, people are at home, they don't see the need to buy masks. Finally, on COVID, you see, Besigye is a very complicated man.
But brilliant.
No, he's not brilliant. Besigye is a crafty man. He's just cunning and crafty. He supported the government, was the first one to talk about a total lockdown before even Museveni announced it. Because the problem with the government, when they are doing something, they first bribe the opposition people. They give the opposition people money and they support. Now Besigye is back. This is why they are saying that the border raiders have not benefited from Nabbanja's funds and they are threatening with a strike. What does it mean? When Bobi Wine hears that Besigye is organizing a strike, Bobi Wine, not to be overshadowed by Besigye, he will join Besigye. And for the border raiders, if they know that when they threaten a strike, when Museveni cannot accept to face a strike, any strike, why? If we forced to power tear gas, there will be stampede. As the result, it requires a peaceful environment to keep people indoors. What is he going to do? You will hear Museveni calling leaders of what to give them money. Because that is his practice. One day, NRM delegates were invited for a meeting. Their money, they claimed that they had failed to get the money through their telephone sets, as it is being claimed now. What did the president do? Told them forget about that money, went and brought other funds. What about the money that was intended for soldiers who were in Congo? Museveni said, forget about that money. He collected the other funds and paid the soldiers in Congo. So that is his practice.
Aliwa kubribinga abantu.
Boba mumanyi. Nti bamala ozibba tewaba awasibwa.
Ne lwaki tomuvaako okimanyi byakola.
Bamala ozibba tewali asibwa.
Olwaki tomuvaako musajja.
And to go where?
Ogendako mu kibiina ekirala.
Anti nze nkugamba. Nti ebibiina byonna mbimanyi. All of these political parties are branches of NRM. They are under the total control of Museveni.
Nature Bobi Wine ngamba nedda bwendowooza.
Ate kankubuulire. Let us look at the genesis of how Bobi Wine got to the party. Bobi Wine started with the slogan, people power. But if we went to the elections using people power, people power was a slogan. She would end up having independent MPs in the parliament. Independent MPs in the parliament are useless. Why? Even if you are the largest opposition, they are not given any benefits. No. It's NRM that says, has a practice of signing a memorandum of understanding with the opposition, with the independents. Kakati, singa Bobi Wine yagenda ne ba independents, tiyali abaka ba parliament, buli mbaka wa parliament, ayina sente zafunye ekibiina ki. Kati Bobi Wine ku babaka 58, ayina 5 billion annually. DP with only 14, Mao managed to construct DP headquarters that other his predecessors had failed to do. DP in HTB. Mao akizimbye muki. Kakati, how did Bobi Wine get a party? First of all, let us ask ourselves. These parties, the party that was given to Bobi Wine was started by NRM. They are under the total supervision of Dr. Ruhakana Rugundu. Their chairman is Amanya Mushega. So these parties, small parties, were registered by the NRM to use them in the future. In case you have something to do with the political parties, like the referendum on the political parties, and the major political parties reject such a referendum, you would use these ones.
Hey, it could be to Mr. Mirundi. Singa ruchenkera nibagamba kakate chibina cha nupu chechitute obunanizwa mu ggwanga nga NRM teriko okijoininga oboduka misi
anti kyekubulira nkugamba nti nupu ya NRM
Mirundi nekta
anti nkubulidde nkunyonyodde nti how did Bobi Wine get this party? This was an existing party. He did not form a new party. He could not form a new party. So he used one of this NUP is one of the old parties that had been registered by NRM to use them in case they wanted to parade them as parties if the big parties failed to play ball. That's one. Two, in order to organize a delegates conference, you had to announce in a new vision, because we don't have a Uganda Gazette for 14 days. They did it without attracting the attention of security people. Even Museveni was not informed. Why did the government, why did the security keep a close eye on a small party that was organizing a delegates conference when it had no interest in supporting a presidential candidate? Security did not intervene until after the delegates conference. When they went to challenge Bobi Wine's leadership, court ruled in favor of Bobi Wine. So therefore, Bobi Wine, there is no party in Uganda that does not have the influence. And in fact, if I want to join the opposition, I can join Mugisha Muntu. The most credible leader of opposition in Uganda is Mugisha Muntu.
But you've said there is no opposition parties in Uganda.
Yes.
How come Mugisha now is qualified?
Mugisha Muntu, when you look at Mugisha Muntu, because Mugisha Muntu, when you look at Mugisha Muntu has all the credentials of a leader, a national leader. He commanded the army for 9 years as army commander. Mugisha Muntu was not corrupt. Even when they are staging strikes, I have never seen soldiers subjecting Mugisha Muntu to humiliating incidents like the way they treat Besigye. They treat Besigye like any other person. They humiliate him. But Mugisha Muntu is a highly respected general. Two, Mugisha Muntu, his argument, he does not attack Museveni. Mugisha Muntu talks about issues. But the problem with Mugisha Muntu is that he does not have the resources, and his type of politics cannot attract these masses who depend on lies. You look like people like Nambos and others, these DPP Veros, the pendulums. The other day they were in Mengo. The other day they joined the DP. Today they are in NUP. What type of people are these?
You know, they are on your future.
Given people well understanding Ugandans, there is no society. Okay, in Kenya, today it is Jubilee, the other time is DMO, the other time is what? Because they start political parties every election as vehicles too. But for me, the person I see who is credible, because I told you that a kid who stays in a shrine does not respect elders. Why? He sees bishops, he sees just leaders who denounce Satan during the day, coming for the witch doctor to get medicine, witchcraft. For me, I worked in the State House for 14 years. I know people who could sneak into State House at night.
Ngabo opposition?
Yes. So that's why for me, the only person in Uganda who is credible in the opposition is Mugisha Muntu. The rest are fake.
Kali, tuchaliwo. naye kakati ekikulu kya byonna nti bannayuganda ebituluma bingi jjo nalabika kiripo nga bagamba nti ebulaaya naddala mu Israel trafficking human organs nakyo nga bwekiri ne mu Uganda bagamba bwekiri.
No, and you see this boy was arrested in Nansana was linked to Israelis. Me, I know, I've talked about it. The Israelis are involved. The Israelis have the capacity to even drill your brain. This boy was working for the Israelis. The Israelis, what they do, they can transplant the female structure and replant it in a barren woman and produces of Israel. Bevani mukugula abana kasola bomwana aged between 18 and 37 tazalanga kotakola ekibi babagula. But I've been talking about this organic case, and fortunately for Uganda, 167 Ugandans, including 63 surgeons, have been arraigned before the International Criminal Court to face charges of human trafficking. A Pakistani who came here, and I tracked him. I have video conversations with some of our leading politicians. I chased him from Uganda. She went to Karachi. She was sentenced to 7 years for human organ trafficking and a fine of $5 million.
Benabidi mu Uganda?
Yes, out of the 167 people who are charged, who are giving evidence on via what do we call this communication? Zoom. One is a Kenyan, another one is a Rwandese, another one is two are Chinese. And there is a Chinese businessman who fled from Uganda because he was also wanted. Yes. So I know the organic case.
Okay.
Even my daughter was killed and her organ is extracted. My daughter, my biological daughter. My wife was trapped, was tricked, but she was smart. She gave me the telephone numbers of those people. Do you see many accidents in Uganda?
They are no longer.
Yes. Fika Salama. All the accidents on Masaka Road were intended. What about accidents where buses used to knock each other in eastern Uganda? Do you see those such accidents? Even border people used to knock themselves purposely for that. Some companies brought in Uganda borders for the intention after calculating that if you have 500 borders, how many accidents did they make in a day? These are accident hotspots, like the sugar plantations in Jinja. Do you see accidents there? Yes.
Okay, Mukulu Mirundi webale nnyo kutuweereza. Nate Uganda yo yeewunyise bamu ebintu bingi ebyessanyu n'ebinyiiza. Twakalaba kati nga bakabika mukwano gwo. Muyita mukwano gwo kuba you are Museveniist is your friend. Bamubisse nti mufu abamubika mbu nibaagala batwala mu kkomero basiba. Watuukira okukubika nga oli mulamu kitegeeza ki?
Normally this is always done in Uganda by frustrated people, because why didn't they announce his death during the campaign? What are they doing? Why are they doing it now? For two purposes. One is political, another one is economic. You see, you people, you don't understand. As ever since she was appointed, have you seen her in public? Why?
COVID.
No. The rumors were intended to raise the question of succession, because Alupo came at a time when Tanzania had a president, a female president who had come into power in Kavuyo.
Tanzania president came in power in Kavuyo. Alupa is coming as a vice president in Uganda. In what?
Kakati, people don't take gambles. These mafias don't gamble. They are saying, what if you say that Museveni is dead? You raise the question of who can succeed Museveni under the current atmosphere. Announcing Museveni's fake death, do you know that it can lead to assassinations.
Yep.
Would be because the arrivals. Why has Museveni appointed his son-in-law as General Gund?
Chief in command for.
Yes, he was complaining. He wants to be president and was arguing that has been sidelined. His activities, as he had a patriotic movement, something like that, had been, his efforts to go to the party had been frustrated. So he was arguing, I'm a Ugandan and I am entitled, because they think in terms of money that anybody can be elected president. So one of the reasons is to raise the question of the presidency. If Museveni is assassinated, do you know what it means? It can lead to the assassination of Alupo. Have you understood it? Two, his bloggers, you see, they tell us that when a leader humiliates those who have delivered, committed, and dedicated the service to him, he ends up using mercenaries. Museveni is using mercenaries because the system has humiliated those who have delivered, committed, and dedicated the service. As a result, these are mercenaries. This is why a president gives MPs money to pass bills. Yeah. How can a president give money to MPs belonging to his party to pass bills? That was the Nankabiran's practice. Museo to Wayoji. And at times, this is why Museveni avoids parliament. Because he knows whenever he goes to parliament, they ask him money. Kakati, when you use mercenaries, the bloggers, people in the State House, these rumors originate from the State House. These people thought that if you spread constantly fake death news about Museveni, they're asking Museveni to give them money to counter, because Museveni would be made to believe that these reports originate from the opposition. And therefore, to counter the opposition, Museveni would give his bloggers money. This fake news of announcing Museveni's fake death originates from State House, inside Museveni's palace.
I mean,
I don't mind, but may I investigate and find out?
But is your friend, just advise him.
No. You see, for me, I know my limits.
You know your limits.
My limits is to tell these people that once, if you mess up with yourselves and lose power, if the public has given you goodwill, has given Museveni a goodwill, and if you mess up with this goodwill, you take it for granted, you will lose like other governments which have lost. In Uganda, I have not seen a government that come in power when it is not supported by people.
This is serious, Mirundi.
Yeah.